Have you ever questioned the historical existence of Jesus Christ? Welcome to an exploration of the mythicist outlook. Today, we will embark on a journey that traces the footsteps of an idea that, for some, may seem rather radical. The mythicist perspective, which proposes that Jesus Christ may not have been a real historical figure, but rather a mythological construct. Now, before we go any further, let's be clear. This perspective, as you might imagine, is not without its fair share of controversy. It's a contentious debate that has been brewing for centuries, simmering in the pot of historical and theological discourse. Yet, it is a perspective that deserves to be examined, dissected, and understood in its own right. The origin of this perspective can be traced back to the 18th century, a time when reason and logic were held in high regard over faith and tradition. This was the Enlightenment period, a time of intellectual and philosophical revolution. It was during this era that the mythicist perspective started to gain traction, as scholars began to question the traditional narratives we have come to accept as historical truth. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason and empirical evidence, provided fertile ground for the growth of the mythicist outlook. This perspective, while still a minority view, began to be seen not as a rejection of faith, but rather as an alternative way of understanding the narratives that have shaped our world. As we move forward in our exploration, we will delve into the theories of early proponents, trace the evolution of the mythicist perspective into the 20th century, examine its impact in the Internet age, and finally, reflect on its implications. Remember, as we delve deeper into this exploration, our goal is not to pass judgment or to sway opinions. Our aim is to understand, to gain insight, and to foster a conversation that is both respectful and enlightening. So buckle up, keep an open mind, and let's take this journey together. As we delve deeper, remember, the goal is to understand, not to judge. Let's travel back to the 18th century, when the seeds of mythicism were first sown. Our first stop is France, where we encounter Charles-François Dupuy, a man of many hats, astronomer, author, and most importantly, one of the first proponents of the mythicist perspective. Dupuy proposed a fascinating theory. The narratives of Christianity, he suggested, were not unique, but rather mirrored pre-existing pagan myths. He saw a pattern, a common thread of solar symbolism woven into many religious tales. To Dupuy, Jesus was not a historical figure but a symbol of the sun, his 12 apostles representing the 12 zodiac signs. From France, we journey to Germany to meet Bruno Bauer, a radical theologian and philosopher. Bauer took mythicism a step further. He rejected the idea of a historical Jesus altogether. Instead, he posited that Christianity was a synthesis of Greek, Roman, and Jewish philosophy. Its central figure, Jesus, a fictional character created to embody these teachings. These early proponents offered compelling, albeit controversial, theories. They dared to question the prevailing narrative, to shine a light on the shadows of religious history. They faced immense criticism, of course, yet their courage to challenge the established order marked the beginning of a movement. Dupuy and Bauer were not the only ones to harbor such views. Many others followed suit, each adding their unique voice to the growing chorus of mythicism. Their theories varied, from Jesus being a metaphorical figure to him being a celestial deity. But the common thread was clear. They all questioned the literal existence of Jesus. These early theories set the stage for a growing skepticism about the historical Jesus. They dared to ask tough questions, to challenge long-held beliefs, and in doing so, they sowed the seeds of a debate that continues to this day. The journey of mythicism was just beginning, its path winding and uncertain, yet forever marked by the bold steps of these early proponents. As we move into the 20th century, the mythicist perspective evolves and diversifies. The era was marked by a surge of interest in this intriguing perspective, driven in part by the works of influential scholars such as Arthur Drews and George Albert Wells. Arthur Drews, a German philosopher and historian of religion, was one of the most influential proponents of mythicism in the early 20th century. His work, The Christ Myth, published at the dawn of the century, sparked significant controversy and debate. Drews argued that Jesus was not a historical figure, but a mythological construct, an embodiment of divine concepts prevalent in ancient religions. His bold assertions ignited a firestorm of criticism, but also kindled an enduring interest in the mythicist perspective. Parallel to Drews, in the later part of the century, we encounter the British scholar G.A. Wells. Wells, initially trained in German and philosophy, later turned his scholarly attention to the New Testament. His central argument, laid out in his book The Jesus of the Early Christians, was that Jesus was a mythical figure, a construct of early Christian thought. His provocative ideas, much like Drews, faced resistance from mainstream academia, but nevertheless found a receptive audience among those questioning traditional religious narratives. These scholars and others like them pushed the boundaries of academic discourse, challenging conventional wisdom and inviting rigorous scrutiny of religious texts and traditions. Their works, while often met with resistance, played a pivotal role in expanding the mythicist perspective, fostering a vibrant and ongoing debate within academia and beyond. However, it's important to note that the mythicist perspective was not universally accepted. Many scholars, both within and outside religious studies, challenged these ideas, arguing for the historical existence of Jesus and critiquing the mythicist arguments as too radical or lacking in evidence. Despite this pushback, the mythicist perspective found its niche, continuing to intrigue and provoke. As we'll see in our next segment, with the advent of the digital age, these debates would take on new dimensions, reaching a global audience like never before. Despite resistance, the mythicist perspective continued to intrigue and provoke. In the age of the internet, mythicism finds a new platform and a wider audience. The digital revolution has undoubtedly been a game changer, and the field of religious studies, including the mythicist perspective, has not been left untouched. The internet, with its unlimited access to information and its ability to connect people across the globe, has significantly influenced the dissemination and popularity of mythicism. The internet has enabled scholars and enthusiasts alike to delve into the depths of mythicist theories, to dissect them, discuss them, and disseminate them. It has opened up a global platform where ideas can be shared, scrutinized, and debated freely. This has led to a surge in the popularity of mythicism, as more people become aware of and engage in this alternative perspective. Two figures who have been instrumental in this digital dissemination of mythicism are Richard Carrier and Robert M. Price. Carrier, a historian and prominent advocate of the Christ myth theory, has utilized the internet as a tool to share his views and research with a global audience. His online presence has not only helped to popularize mythicism, but has also fostered a community for open discussion and debate. Similarly, Robert M. Price, a theologian and professor, has also leveraged the power of the internet to share his mythicist perspective. Price's podcasts and online writings have reached countless individuals, prompting thought and discussion about the historical existence of Jesus. In the end, the internet has effectively democratized the field of religious studies, allowing for a wider range of perspectives, including mythicism, to be heard and considered. It has provided a platform for the voices of Carrier, Price, and countless others, enabling them to reach audiences that were once unreachable. In this digital age, mythicism has become more than an academic pursuit or a fringe theory. It has become a global conversation, a dialogue that is constantly evolving and expanding, fueled by the power of the internet. With the digital age, mythicism has found new life and continues to spark debate. So, what does all this mean for our understanding of Jesus Christ? We've journeyed from the early proponents of the mythicist outlook right up to its current-day interpretations. We've seen how this perspective has evolved, adapted, and persisted across time. And through it all, we've delved into the core question: was Jesus Christ a historical figure or a mythic construct? In the early days, proponents like Bruno Bauer and Arthur Drews posed challenging questions about the historicity of Jesus, shaking the foundations of traditional religious thought. They brought forth theories that suggested Jesus was a symbolic figure rather than a historical one. These theories, radical for their time, set the stage for the mythicist perspective that we know today. Fast forward to the 20th century, The mythicist perspective found new life in the works of scholars like Earl Doherty and Robert M. Price. Their contributions further enriched this viewpoint, shedding light on the potential of Christ as a celestial being rather than a historical figure. And of course, we couldn't forget the internet age. The digital era provided a platform for this perspective to reach a global audience. It sparked debates, discussions, and dialogues, inviting everyone to partake in this intellectual exploration. This journey through the mythicist outlook isn't just about questioning the existence of Jesus Christ. It's about acknowledging the diversity of perspectives that exist within religious studies. It's about encouraging open dialogue and critical thinking in our understanding of religious history. And most importantly, it's about fostering a sense of curiosity and a desire to learn. For religious scholars and believers alike, the mythicist perspective presents an opportunity to deepen our understanding of faith, history, and the human condition. It reminds us that religious narratives are complex, multifaceted, and ever-evolving. Whether you agree or disagree, the mythicist perspective invites us all to question, to explore, and to learn. Thanks for joining this journey of exploration.